morning, everyone. Happy Navratri to all of you. Thanks for joining our session today on effective employee communication from strategy to day impact. I am joined by our speaker, Mr. K Tripathy, SVP HR at JSW Cement. Mr. Tripathi carries extensive experience of more than 30 years in HR industry across multiple companies, and his journey with JSW Cement is now for more than 14 years. We are glad to have him in this session. For everyone joined here, I am Isha. I am part of ESOP Direct since 2015, now Capita. We would be discussing with Mr. Tripathi about how effective employee communication is critical in the company's journey from private to public. So let's move with the webinar. So why we thought about this topic? Employees don't need more messages. They need clarity that drives action. In a year of shifting priorities, tools, and ways of working, getting the right message to the right people at right time is a performance advantage. Today we will share a practical playbook with an IPO as one example of high-stakes movement where JSW carried a roadshow for their employees to reiterate the impact and benefits of ESOPs. So the agenda for the next 35 to 40 minutes would be covering foundations of effective communications, movements that matter, and how to measure understanding and iterate. We will finish with our audience Q&A and concrete takeaways you can take or apply immediately. So request to drop your questions in the chat box and we will take it up at the last of the session. So this session is being recorded and we will share the replay afterward. In this session, we would not discuss confidential or market sensitive information. This is generalized for learning. So with that, over to Mr. Tripathi to give us a line or two about his introduction.
Hi, thank you, Isha. Good morning to all the people who have joined this webinar. You have already given my introduction, so I'm in the HR profession for last 30 odd years. Primarily, I've worked in two segments only. One, of course, is telecom, and the other one is manufacturing. More or less equally divided in terms of years of experience, 15 years in telecom and 15 years in manufacturing. So I'm currently part of the JSW Cement HR team, but I've spent close to 15 years now in the JSW group. Yeah.
Right. Thanks, sir. So to kick us off, in your words, what does effective employee communication mean today and how do you know it's working?
Now, there are a couple of points I would like to highlight here. When we talk about effective communication, there are certain aspects of communication. We have to be absolutely transparent in terms of our communication. That's point number one. And it has to be timely, it has to be delivered timely. Transparency will automatically work if it is delivered on time.
Perfect.
Just to share an example with you, whenever we do communication around JSW Cement stock option plan, we have been using a very particular terminology, your company. When we communicate, starting from our managing director to CEO to director of finance, all of them communicate whether it is over an email or in a town hall. We always say it's your company. So that makes the communication around ESOP pretty effective.
Right.
Yeah.
Sense of ownership you give.
Yes. And you also asked, how do we know it's working today? There are multiple ways you can measure whether the communication around ESOP is working or not. One of them is how often you get queries from the employees.
Right.
They reach out in their own means. Some of them call up, some of them send an email. But with the introduction of the digital platform through your organization, Capita, I think we have made it amply clear, and we know how many queries that we get around ESOP. So that gives us a sense that yes, it's working and
It's
it's effective.
working.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, sir. So, I mean, we have associated, I guess, right from 2021, end of
Yeah.
2021, way
Yeah.
before the listing. So, next is how the journey started for you in terms of ESOPs and its role on retention,
Hmm.
as it's an important aspect. What would you
Okay.
say?
Now, I will answer in two parts. One is how the journey started. That's very important. Retention happens to be the fallout of the ESOP scheme, as in it's one of the outcomes. But our journey actually started way back in 2016. I must tell all of you that in 2016, our company was not so known, as in the cement industry. We were considered no one then because our capacities were low. But that's the time when we had a vision that yes, we will take this company to greater heights, you know. And that's where we started our first communication around ESOP, you know. And we had the objective of becoming the top two companies or top three companies in cement. But our initial thought was let's consider ourselves as a challenger brand.
Right,
And we moved ahead with that approach. And our first communication, but at that time I was not in cement, I was part of the JSW group. But I
hmm,
remember in January 2016, on 1st of January, on New Year's Day, our MD had sent across a communication over email to all employees saying that this is our long term vision. This is what we would like to do, and this is what you as an employee can get benefit and become a shareholder or a owner of the company. So we started way back in 2016. And over the years, periodically, we have been communicating on our stock option plan through various modes to employees. As far as retention
right,
is concerned, our objective, of course, was to attract and retain people in the organization, but there are larger objectives as well. One of them is, of course, fundraising, which every business would need. Second is the
right.
pride, the pride of becoming a listed entity was also playing out all the time over the last 8 9 years. Has it
Right.
helped in retaining people? No, if I have to talk in terms of numbers, today our employee base is around 1,600. I think close to 1,200 people are beneficiaries of the stock option plan. Yeah. So yes, it has helped us.
Mute Saleh.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Sorry, sir. Yeah. Now I can.
Yeah. So it has helped us in retaining people. I would not say no, it hasn't. It has helped us big time. More so, I would suggest people who have spent time with us, as in people who have long duration with us, they have stayed back. That itself is a proof that yes, the stock option plan has worked.
Right. No, sir, I mean, purpose of asking this question is like we come across employee queries for majorly for unlisted companies where they don't have clarity in terms of what is going to be next. So
Mhm.
I have got ESOPs, I have accepted the grant, but what will happen? When will I get the outcome? That clarity seems to be a difficult at the time of unlisted status. So,
Hmm.
like you said, the timely communication and giving that sense of ownership to employees, uh, I mean, helps them to get clarity in terms of next steps, and it gives assurance that
Yes.
in the long run, I'm going to get certain outcome of I mean, received ESOPs. So that's important.
Yeah, yeah. There is another aspect also when we talk about stock options for a listed entity versus an unlisted entity. Or in case of a listed entity, employees or the beneficiaries who are part of the stock option plan can actually
Mm,
see what's in it for them because they
correct.
can drive the value or worth of their shares that they hold. But in an unlisted entity, it's a little trickier. I think That's where communication helps, because I can tell the people who are here, uh, we you we s- we continued with our communication through the digital platform by actually displaying the value or worth of the options employees were having once in a year till the time we got listed. That
Right.
itself gave a kind of confidence and belief to the employees, saying that yes, that is something in it for me.
Right. That helps, sir. So moving next is what motivated JSW Cement to prioritize employee communication and awareness before going public, and what were the prime objectives? You covered, few of them, but still.
Mm. No, so our objective, if I have to tell you that, yes, we always wanted to go public, you know. And when any entity, business entity wants to go public, there is a journey. Yeah. Today, if I decide to go public, tomorrow it will not happen, because there are certain processes to be followed. At
Right.
the bottom of everything is the business performance, correct? So
Right.
in most of the cases, I have seen it's a long journey, and in our case, it was also a pretty long journey. While we had thought of getting listed long back, as in a couple of years before, but unfortunately, COVID happened in 2020. So kind of 2 years were completely washed out. Okay.
Right. Right.
That is the time. That's the reason why we were late a little bit. This is what I call that communication helps, because uh, in a journey from private to public, the organization as well as the employees go through two phases. One is the phase which I call pleasure. The other one is
Right.
pain. You
Right.
know, even if as an organization we don't communicate when we're going through a good phase or good patch, it's very
Right.
important to communicate when we are going through a pain. Yeah. No, that's what we
Right.
precisely did. If you ask me, in 2021, since the time you all got associated with us, we came up with another stock plan just to ensure that people have trust and faith in the
Right.
organization and in the plan. Yeah.
Right. Right,
That
sir.
that was the primary objective, that employees should see value in it. That
Correct.
yes, they have the opportunity to create wealth in the long run.
So kind of we say, we can say that the JSW Cement has a particular culture in terms of giving transparency and confidence to their employees. That there is something which is there in the long run, and rest assured, you will get that particular outcome. That confidence and faith which you gave employees, we have, like you said, it can be measured in terms of seeing the employee queries, how often you get queries and concerns from employees. We can definitely say that the communication itself reflects like we are handling account, but we see that there is a drastically I mean reduced number of queries in terms of asking the next steps, or what will happen to my ESOPs, what when will I get, what is the work. So I'm sure that internally also you are aligned
Yeah.
with the overall concept. That's where we are not getting the uh, higher number of queries or concerns from employees in terms of their ESOP status. So that
Yeah. Yeah.
reflects, sir.
Yeah. Now, over a period of time, if you ask me what would define success of an effective communication plan around ESOP, when the queries or the number of queries actually become zero, that's the time I would say that okay, employees have understood the
Right.
plan, their rights, their duties, their obligations, what to do, what not to do, when to do, how to do. So these are all teething problems in the beginning when you go from private to public. But over
Correct.
time, I think if the queries become zero, then that's the success. That's the measure of success
That's
for any communication plan. Yeah.
right. Agreed. This helps. Then moving to next is this is kind of question where we wanted to know, when a company goes through critical milestone, there is a need to manage insider information, rumor control, and social media risk internally. Also, the company has to ensure contractors and third parties are aligned on the confidentiality. So, how did you balance transparency with the need of confidentiality?
No, so when it comes to if it is only limited to stock options and the listing as a process, one of the key aspects that everyone must understand and respect is that these are critical information and must be shared on a need to know basis. You know,
Right,
because otherwise there is always a kind of enthusiasm amongst employees that they're very eager to know what's happening, when are we getting listed, why is it getting delayed. So we need not actually communicate everything to everyone.
right,
On a need to know basis, we have to communicate because there are aspects which we are not supposed to communicate statutorily, correct? There is a statutory obligation. Yeah.
right.
So all of this is very important. And what's more important is how do we say no when it is required? Many
Most
times,
difficult thing.
yeah, that's the most difficult one because many a times we ourselves are not very confident whether to say yes or no.
Right,
Yeah, saying no, it's an art, but yes, it's required because these are sensitive informations when it comes to business performance, all of that. And there we can be absolutely very clear and transparent and honest in saying no, this is a classified information, cannot be said with everyone.
right. I love that concept of need to know basis. We should
Hmm.
communicate
Yeah.
instead of open communication. Right. So, from your experience, sir, how does transparent and effective employee communication contributes to a company culture, especially during significant milestones like IPO?
Hmm. Okay. No, so I would say that IPO is an event. You know,
Right,
yes, it's a great experience to get listed. IPO is an event, and the companies go through multiple iterations when they go for IPO. There are
right,
various other factors also that decides when to go for a listing, when not to go for listing.
right,
Uh, if you ask me whether we were very transparent in terms of communicating to employees when we are going public, my answer is yes. We were very transparent. Yes, but not in great, not with a very defined date saying that okay on 1st of December 2025 we are going public. No, we said yes, there are events that are taking place because listing process itself is a 1 year journey from the day you decide that okay on 1st of January 2026 we have to
right,
list, then we have to start working on 1st of January 2025. Yeah. So a lot of
correct,
things happen during this period. People are very curious to know where is our application, what is the status of our application. Yeah. Is there any query? Is there any delay? All of that must be managed very carefully, very, very
right,
carefully, because we need not go and tell people saying that, okay, we are listing on this particular date and this is the status. Yes, the core team that's involved in the listing process must know everything, but
right.
they also need to be educated that these are very, very sensitive information.
Sensitive, correct,
Please don't pass it on to the employees at large.
right.
Yeah.
Uh, So, like we said, you recently carried a roadshow for
Hmm.
a particular event like IPO. So, how you decided the mode of communication, and what was the reason for bifurcating into different approaches like virtual and in person? What was the
Okay.
methodology?
Now, here I will take you all back to the initial point. You know, employee stock options at large, if you see in India, for most of the entities, it's meant only for a select few employees, as in maybe at the people who are at higher levels in the organization hierarchy. Yeah. And the other approach is what we have adopted that, okay, we will do it, we'll roll it out across the organization for all employees. So the approach in terms of communication in both these cases have to be very, very different. In our case, since we did it for everyone, it's a very complex communication. You know, every employees in the organization across hierarchies may or may not know the nitty-gritties of stock option plan. Yeah.
Okay.
While they were all
Right.
happy that yes, they've got a grant, they've got a letter, they have the opportunity to make some money, but the nitty-gritties of stock options is very important, and that must be communicated to employees at large. In our case, since we covered large employee base, our fundamental thinking was since we have traveled a distance from 2016 till 2025, let's go all out and communicate to the employees in various forms. One of them happened to be the roadshow.
Right.
And by virtue of being in the cement industry, which is a very, very scattered, highly localized business, we have plants where employees are there. It's very easy for all to call all the employees at one place and communicate. That's why we decided that we'll do the road shows at all plant locations.
Okay.
However, we also have close to 40% of our population who are part of our sales and marketing organization. They're deputed or deployed across various territories. It could be at a district level, it could be at a taluka level also. That is
Right.
where we said, let's do it over virtually, yeah, for all sales employees. For all the people who are in manufacturing or project sites, we did it in person through town halls. But for sales and organization, our initial plan was to do it virtually. However, uh, during this tenure and closer to
Mm.
the IPO date, I think there were a couple of sales conferences or dealer conferences that were organized at Goa. We said this is
Yes.
an opportunity for us to communicate to sales employees also in person. That's where I
Right.
think your team came and helped us to carry out these
Yes.
communication sessions. So there are
Right, sir.
multiple approaches we adopted, and in the interim, prior to listing and all, we also made it a point whenever we go to our plants, which we generally go, any leadership team
Mm.
that goes to the plant locations, we actually
Yes.
ensure that in the initial years we communicated to employees that this is what it is for you as far as ESOP is concerned.
Okay. So it's not about any particular event, but in a continuous way,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
part of pieces, you were ensuring that this is the brief is given to the employees in terms of ESOPs and the next
yeah.
actions.
Yeah, correct, correct. Because every year, I remember since 2021, every year we used to update the fair market value of our options in the portal
Yes.
itself, which
Yes.
in itself gave a lot of confidence to employees. Correct. When they saw the fair market value is moving upwards, that's where they got more confidence. Yes, they have an option or opportunity to create wealth.
Right. And visualization of the overall status helps more to employees.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
once login, if they say final value that this is the current worth for me, that helps instead of just seeing the paper. So in a way, platform or digitalization helps in terms of giving more clarity to employees what they have.
Yeah, that's the beauty of technology.
Right.
You can reach out to en masse to employees at a click of a button. So you don't have to organize for in-person meetings, managing the
Right.
logistics and all. But we took that extra effort. We said, no, it's very important. Let's communicate to employees in person because people down the level in the hierarchy, all of
Right.
them may not know what
Correct.
is an ESOP, correct?
Right. Right, sir. So we experienced that, sir, during our presentations, where you mentioned that certain points are non-negotiable and must be there in the presentation, and accordingly we covered. So, what were the must-win moments you identified for internal communications?
No, so the must-win elements. during the internal communication was basically I thought of a couple of aspects of the plan, stock option plan, because it's a very complex thing. It may appear very simple on face of it, but it's really complex. Like for example, I'll tell you, employees in the initial days had a belief or a faith that saying that okay, the company is going to pay us money because we are part of the stock option plan. That's where I said let's make it very clear. What does a grant mean? What is vesting? What is exercise? What is sale of share? Yeah. And why sale of share is very important, whether to sell or not to sell. So these are must wins because otherwise employees would continue to perceive that the company is going to pay them some money, which is
Right.
not the case. Yeah.
Right.
The other thing is, over time, I've seen the way ESOP compensation is treated from a tax perspective has changed big time.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
that's why, if you recall, I was very categorical in saying that, okay, this is subject to applicable tax because
Yes.
many people don't know what is a perquisite tax. So ESOP is considered as a perquisite. So what is a perquisite tax? And what
Right.
are the responsibilities of the employee as well as the employer in this case our company, because deducting tax is company's liability.
Right.
So these were some of the aspects I think you all covered in your road shows, that what it
Yes.
means and how it is to be done.
Right. Taxation was one of the parameter where we emphasized in terms of mode of payment also.
Yeah.
If you
No,
choose cash, what will happen?
correct.
Yes.
One other thing I missed out, uh, the biggest change that happens from private to public is this aspect of insider trading.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very important. You know, there are certain set of people who are defined as designated person. They can't
Yes.
transact on the ESOPs during a particular window. uh, Employees at large cannot exercise during a particular window. So this insider trading as a concept was not known to majority of our employees.
Right, sir.
Yeah, I think this aspect also you all covered during the road shows.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Right. So, sir, how did you leverage Capita as a partner right from inception and for the roadshow and so on for effective employee communication in terms
hmm.
of legal or administrative part? And also, how did you handle the change management for employees from offline to platform? Because the plan started in the year of 2016 and we got associated in the year of 2021. So, how
Yeah.
was the change management for employees?
Yeah, okay, I'll tell you. First of all, we got a lot of support from Capita, yeah, which was formerly known as ESOP Direct. I had interacted with ESOP Direct long back, but the support your team has extended to us actually has benefited all of us in a big way. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I will just take you a couple of years back. Why we wanted to go for the digital mode to administer and manage the entire stock option plan. You know, in the year 2021, I remember I had a mandate from my MD saying that people must know what is the value of the options they hold at least once every year. Yeah. We could have communicated this offline, as in through
Right.
town halls and all.
Okay.
That's the time when we said no, let's make it digital. That's the time when we got in touch with your organization and we said we would allow employees to see the value of their options through the employee portal that they access to do their day-to-day activities. That's where we started. We integrated the Capita portal to our employee portal, and various features that we created in your portal. That
Right.
has helped the organization and the employees in a big way. I'll cite some examples here. As an employee, if I know, okay, the value of my options is say 50 lakhs, if at all I'm exploring opportunities outside of JSW
Right.
Group, uh, I used to tell employees, yes, fine, you can do that, but check what's the kind of value that you have or you possess or that's yours if you decide to continue with JSW as an organization. You know, that's a big support. Otherwise, reaching out to employees one on one or through a town hall, communicating what's the worth of their
Right.
options is really difficult
Right,
and
sir.
it's highly time consuming.
Right.
Yeah,
Also, real-time reflection of the update is something helps employees. So whenever
yeah,
they just log in and they see the current value status, and
yeah.
that's where they get the confidence.
Yeah, I think till the time we were unlisted, we used to update the value once in a year.
Once in a year. Yes.
Yeah, it made sense, lot of sense, because it doesn't make sense to update it every quarter, every month. So we said, okay, fine.
Right.
And that also gave a confidence to employees.
Right.
Yeah,
Post listing also they have real time visibility in terms of since we have integration with NAC BAC whenever employee logs in they can see the previous day value and that's where they
absolutely.
will have more clarity.
Yeah.
Right. So, sir, curious to know that, I mean, during this entire process of IPO, change management, and for employees' queries, so what were the specific queries or concerns, misconceptions you might have received from employees? I'm sure those will be less because you are maintaining continuous communication to employees, but still, are there any cases which you would like to share?
No, most of the cases I think we took care of before going public because there is always a lot of confusion around vesting and exercise and sale. I think to a large extent we have taken care of that. You know, uh, I don't think so. We are getting a lot of query around exercise now, but people are still saying that, sir, what is the right day to exercise? I said it's a judgment that you as an individual have to take. Yeah, this is
Right.
where,
Correct.
yeah. So the only aspect possibly which we could have included in our communication sessions was around financial well-being. That particular aspect, I think it's time we should do that
Right.
because wealth creation always happens over time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
So that's what it is. Otherwise, uh, miscommunication. Yes, there are certain miscommunications around perquisite tax. People thought that no, 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 why I should pay tax, but that's the law of the land. We can't do much about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it, sir. So, I mean, how did the communication sessions which we had impact employee morale and understanding of ESOPs?
See, understanding of ESOPs, yes, to a large extent, people have understood and realized that yes, this is how a particular stock option plan of any company works. Uh, uh, I think we have done enough and more communication around it by now. And as we go from here to the next level, yes, people would understand through the portal itself what it means for them. Yeah.
Right,
And
right,
the biggest advantage of this is that if at all we decide to come up with another plan, the need for communication would be significantly lesser because people are already educated around these stock options. Yeah, that helps.
right.
That helps.
Even we
And
are there to,
yeah, yeah, you all are there to help us out. But has
yes,
it impacted the employee moral? My answer is yes, because at least there is a comfort in employees
right,
now that yes, they have a platform or they have a system in place where they can see value of their shares and they can do exercise, do whatever they feel like doing, and it's impacting their moral for sure.
right. So we also experienced during our roadshow visits where employees were reaching out personally to ask queries, questions, and I mean, they were finding it more easy than reaching out to help desk and take email response. It is
Hmm.
always better to communicate face to face and get the clarity. So we saw that many employees were coming forward and asking their queries, getting those resolved. So even we felt that this roadshow must have helped employees in terms of getting clarity on the
Yeah.
entire process. Right. Lastly, what advice would you give to other companies planning to go public about engaging their employees effectively during this phase?
Uh,
Any specific?
no, so I really don't know what kind of advice I would give for entities who are planning to go public, but couple of things, aspects that everyone should keep in mind while going from private to public is we we must communicate upfront around the vision and purpose of why we're doing or why we're going wanting to go public. You know, in most of the cases, employees do not understand why we are going public. You know, everybody says that
Right,
it's only for fundraising. Yes, that's a primary reason. I'm not denying that. But there are other aspects as well. You know, for example, uh, in India, at least I can tell you this, working for a listed entity as against an unlisted entity carries some status symbol. I don't know why it is so, but it is so. So the communication should happen upfront, clearly
right,
mentioning what is the purpose of going public. Yeah. Communication is one aspect. It can be a one-way communication, correct, over digital platforms like emails or any of the other platforms. But what's more important is how do we educate our employees?
right.
Yeah. Education is not communication, correct? Education is when
Oh,
you really want your employees to understand the value of stock options, the value of going public, in what is expected out of them from going from private to public. Now, there's a big change when you are an unlisted entity and you become a listed entity. This is very important. We have to educate employees. The third aspect, I would say that it always helps to form a core team because if
right,
you're managing a large employee base, you really
right,
can't reach out to every employee. Uh,
right,
Communication, yes, you can do. You can use digital media to communicate, but to educate employees, we must form a core team where these core team members are well equipped to educate people down the line.
right,
That's very important. That's very important. I would say what not to do is more important than what to do.
right.
Yeah. First of
Yes,
all, we should not ever and ever, we should not never rather communicate to employees saying that this is a money making machine. That's very wrong. I think most of the organizations actually falter there because if we can relate the long term aspiration of the organization to employees' aspiration, then it will work absolutely fine.
right.
Yeah. What not to do is more important than what to do.
Agreed, agreed.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's all. Thanks,
That's
sir,
it.
for
Thank you
answering
so
and
much.
guiding
Yeah.
us. Yes. We have our CEO, Mr. Ravi, on this call. I'll just welcome him and he will share some words.
Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Ravi.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Tripathi. It's actually thank you for your valuable time today. This was a master class. I've made some notes. Not in many ways. This was new benchmarks, and when I'm saying new benchmarks, this whole exercise that you have given us a chance to be a part of was its new benchmark both nationally and internationally in terms of employee communication, transparency, and that transition on the employee ownership side from a private company to a public company. So thank you. There were lots of lessons and anecdotes for us to take away. This is a case study we will use for many years to come. Our mission as a company is to unlock the power of ownership. That's how we defined our mission.
Yeah.
And this was the truest way we could actually visualize and actually realize part of our mission in doing that. And this is happening at a very interesting time where there's so many companies that are about to become listed companies in the country. The capital markets are at an all time high positive sentiment, and so this transition will happen with many other companies. So we think some of these best practices and lessons will be used widely by many of our customers and other companies that will go public. So really appreciate you giving us an opportunity to walk alongside JSW Cement in this transition and in this journey, and also in sharing some of these nuggets and best practices that we will use for many days to come. So really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ravi. So I'll just close the session by saying, like Mr. Tripathi said rightly, in the world of ESOPs, timely communication to employees plays a vital role. And the quote which I can think of as we started with, employees don't need more messages, they need meaning they can act on. So that's all. I mean, this is the uh, perfect message which we can opt internally, externally in any kind of event where even I feel that Capita does the same thing where timely communication and transparency is our core value, and that helps to get a faith in terms of employees. So thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Tripathi, just a moment. We have questions in the chat box. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
If it,
I
yes,
have a couple of more minutes, no problem.
yes. So, first question is, what are the common mistakes companies make while communicating ESOPs to employees? And how can simplicity be balanced with accuracy while communicating with employees? So, we covered a few bit, but still, if you can help.
See, I will not say it's a mistake, but in a hurry to do many good things, companies generally miss out on the legal implications. Yeah.
Right.
For example, I'm just sharing this, that
Mm.
insider trading is a very critical, and it's at any given point in time, employees have to be, the organizations have to be legally compliant. Yeah. Uh, I don't know whether companies communicate around insider trading extensively. Yes, all companies would be sending out an email communication that please don't transact in your company's scripts during the closure of notice,
Trading.
whatever window
Yes.
period. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But it can be made more simple with a regular communication, because today uh, we have 1,600 employees. Tomorrow we may go to 2,000 employees.
Right.
So if we get into a comfort zone by saying, okay, we have communicated extensively to 1,600 employees, what happens to the remaining 400 employees who join the organization new?
Right.
Yeah. So it's very simple. At any given point in time, now if you ask me, the HR folks would say, no, sir, let's take an undertaking at the time of joining itself. But that's not the purpose. The purpose is to educate employees what to do and what not to do. And
Right.
regular communication would always help. And it can be done through the digital platform as well. It's not a big deal.
Right. Thank you. Next is what formats what formats like digital communications, videos, or town halls have you seen work best in your case?
In our case, it's an in-person town hall coupled with the digital communication. That has worked really well for us. Videos, I don't know, but in-person communication is when people actually relate and connect with the speaker, correct? That
Right.
as in employees at large, and they would have a lot of queries. At the end, they can stand up and ask a few queries to the person who is facilitating that communication. So these are the two modes which has helped us in a big way.
Right. So we also experience that, sir. I agree.
Yeah.
In-person visits helps. Then we have one question on ESOP allocation. So can ESOPs be allotted to new generation employees? If yes, what are the rates or terms of allotment?
Ah, I don't know. Employee is an employee. What it means when we say someone is a new generation employee. If you are talking about employees like what do they call Gen Z and all?
Gen Z.
Yes, it can be because that's where we need to do more of financial well-being education. In today's world, most of the Gen Z employees are more worried about how much they get every month. And wealth creation is an opportunity, as in wealth creation as a concept must be must be spread across the new generation employees. And then it becomes very simple. Once you okay, one of the things I must tell that when we talk about employee stock option plan, so it all depends on the organization to decide the people who would be eligible to participate in the plan. So it doesn't matter. The organization can say that, okay, fine, everybody in my company is going to participate in the stock option plan. Accordingly, the plan can be designed.
Right. Coverage can be decided
Yeah,
while creating stock option. Yes.
yeah.
Right. We have one more. Can we insert entrenchment provisions while allotting ESOPs to employees of private limited company?
Entrenchment as in
So restrictions. Restrictions on
restrictions.
transfer. Yes.
No, yes, by all means. So, as a private company, it's a owner-driven company. Yeah. What typically happens is we grant options, correct? Only when the company gets listed, it becomes shares and gets transferred to the individual employee.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There is no harm in granting options to employees in a private company, but we must be absolutely careful about the listing, as in about the exercise. In our case, we said exercise can happen only in the event of listing.
Right.
Yeah, till that time, shares or options cannot be transferred to individual's demat account.
So even after resignation, even
Huh.
after employees are getting separated, they are eligible until the listing comes into picture.
No,
So
no,
they can
not
rest
necessarily.
assured.
No, not necessarily. If an employee has resigned in serving notice period, the company can take a call
Right.
that no. See, one of the objectives of any stock option plan is to retain employees. It doesn't
Right.
make sense if someone has resigned, why to cover that employee under the stock option plan?
Right. Got it, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks for
Okay.
giving clarity. Yes. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.